Yo, what's happening, people? Back again for another stream. Don't forget to smash the like button and don't forget to subscribe to my channel at Gav Goes In. So, carrying on the edition of looking at the squads and the potential lineups for the major teams in the European Championships this summer, which brings us to Holland or Netherlands, whatever you want to call them. So what I'm going to do is go through the squad and I'm going to go through the potential lineup. There's a few different lineups that I think that they possibly could play. But I think the main one, which I'm going to go to after, for me, Holland's always been a team that I've liked watching. You know, obviously from the days of Patrick Kluivert, you know, even the likes of Philip Cocu, obviously Marco van Basten, Frank Rijkaard. Then obviously later on there you got Arjen Robben, Robin van Persie, Rafael van der Vaart, obviously Ruud van Nistelrooy. Yeah, they've had some top players, some top players. Jaap Stam, you know, even Michael Reiziger at the back there. Yeah, some top players, Edwin van der Sar in goal. So yeah, if we go through the squad now, obviously the squad now isn't as potent as it was from previous eras. But if we go through the keepers and defense first, so they've got I think Justin Bigelow from Feyenoord, obviously Mark Flekken from Brentford, Bart Verbruggen from Brighton, and then Olic, who I don't know too much about, as the keepers. And then from defense, you've got Manchester City's title league winning defender, Nathan Ake. Daley Blind on at Girona. He's had a very good season. Obviously, the captain, Virgil van Dijk, who will be leading them in the summer. Inter Milan's Denzel Dumfries. Bayer Leverkusen's flying right back or right wing back, Jeremy Frimpong. Lucharel Gertruda. Matthias de Ligt from Bayern Munich. Ian Maatsen, who's in the squad. And I think Ian Maatsen has a good chance to start as well. But I'll go through the squad as to because there's a few things that Holland could do. But Maatsen's had a very good season at Borussia Dortmund, and obviously he's in the final of the Champions League against Real Madrid. And then you've got the extremely quick and composed on the ball Tottenham defender Mickey van der Ven, and then you've got the experience in Stefan de Vrij. So if we go through the keepers and the defense, for me, in regards to the keepers, I wouldn't say there's one outstanding keeper there. I think if I was to pick out of all four of them, the one that I like the most from what I've seen will be Verbruggen from Brighton. I think Verbruggen, I actually thought he was Belgian just to at first, but yeah, he's someone that I think in a few years' time could be one of the top keepers in the league. I think he's got a lot of potential. Mark Flekken at Brentford has had a decent season. But I think they might start Bigelow from Feyenoord. I think he might get the nod. I could be wrong, but I think it's between. I don't think Verbruggen's played many games. I think it might be Fleck. So I think it might be between Bigelow and Flekken who gets the nod to start in goal. And then if we go through a defense, for me, Nathan Ake, yeah, he's had a great season. And obviously Daley Blind as well. Van Dijk's obviously the captain and he's going to play. It's just whether they play a back three or they play a back four. And they've got a lot of different options to do, which I'm going to go through in a minute. And obviously Matthias de Ligt is there as well, who's playing regularly at the moment for Bayern Munich. Mickey van der Ven, for me, I will start Van der Ven, but it's going to be difficult to get in Van der Ven, Ake, and Ian Maatsen into that team. So I believe one of them, and obviously Daley Blind as well, has had a good season. So one of them is going to miss out, whether it be Ake, Maatsen, Van der Ven, or Daley Blind. I think Daley Blind obviously offers the experience. And then, yeah, you've got Stefan de Vrij, who will be back up to Virgil van Dijk and can also play on the right side of a three at the back if need be. But he'll more or less play as backup to Van Dijk in the middle of the three. Then we go to midfield. You've got Ryan Gravenberch from Liverpool, Frankie de Jong, who's going to be starting in the midfield from Barcelona. You've got Teun Koopmeiners, who actually won the the Europa League yesterday with Atalanta and played very well. You've got Tajani Reginders, Martin de Roon, obviously from Atalanta as well. I think it's Jeremy Shelton, I think his name is. Don't know too much about him. Xavi Simons, who I'll get onto in a bit. Quintin Timber from, who's Urian Timber's brother. Joey Veerman, and you've got the experience in Jorginho Wijnaldum. So from that midfield there, you've got a mixture of experience and youthfulness as well. Obviously, I'll go through the midfield now, but I believe that there's players in there that are definite starters for me. It just depends what kind of mix they want to do. And then you can even see one of them players in that list as well being pushed further forward. But they've got a mix of players that can play a few positions, which I'm going to touch on in a minute. And then as the strikers or the wide players, you've got Steven Bergwijn, ex-Tottenham, Ajax's Brian Brobby, Memphis Depay of Atletico Madrid, Cody Gakpo of Liverpool, Daniel Marlon of Borussia Dortmund, and then you've got Wout Weghorst, formerly obviously on loan from Manchester United. So if we go through the lineup, as I said, I think it'll be between Bigelow and Flecken. I think that might start. For me, I'll start with Verbruggen, but I think the other two might get the nod ahead of him. Now, this is where it gets interesting for me in terms of the lineup, because Virgil van Dijk's going to play, and I believe to get in an extra defender, I reckon they're going to play a back three. Now, the problem is you've got Mickey van der Ven's pace, who's going to be key, but then you've got Nathan Ake as well, who's had a very good season at Manchester City. And then you've got Matthijs de Ligt. Now, if we just say Van Dijk's going to play him, they play a back three. The thing with Ake and Mickey van der Ven, they can both play left back as well, as can Daley Blind. So I believe Daley Blind will be backing up those two. Obviously, he can bring the experience as well. And I think de Ligt will play on the right side of a back three. And then obviously you've got Stefan de Vrij as well, who can interchange in that as well. But it depends whether they want to play a back three or back four. Now, for me, the team that I'd play Van Dijk in the middle of the back three with Matthijs de Ligt on the right-hand side and Nathan Ake. That's the lineup I can see him playing. He could go for a Van der Ven instead of Ake. Shoot. And obviously Ake, or they could go to a back four where Ake plays left back, and then you might have Van der Ven, Van Dijk, and then you could have a Frimpong or a Denzel Dumfries as the right back. But if we go for the back three, this is what I believe they might play. And then, so Ake, Van Dijk, and de Ligt. And then I think they're going to play the two wing backs, which will be Jeremy Frimpong and Ian Maatsen. I think previously, Denzel Dumfries would have been ahead of Frimpong, but I think Frimpong will probably get the nod purely because of the season he's had. And obviously, Bayer Leverkusen have performed well. And I think, obviously, Ian Maatsen is the only natural player in that defence come midfield that can play as a sort of a wing back. And also had a very good season at Borussia Dortmund as well. So yeah, I'm going for Frimpong and Ian Maatsen as the two wing backs. And then you've got Mickey van der Ven, Denzel Dumfries, Daley Blind, De Vrij, and even Gertruda. So Gertruda is another one. He can be cover for the right side at the back. But I think that's a great quartet of defense to have there in terms of versatility, and I think obviously the one constant will be Van Dijk, but you've got great versatility around him, which will be key. And then back to the midfield. I think the midfield, well, Frankie de Jong is definitely going to play. And I think to offer that protection alongside him, I've gone for Tayun Koopmeiners to play alongside. I would like to see Ryan Gravenberch be given a game, but Gravenberch hasn't played regularly for Liverpool this season. So I believe Koopmeiners, you got Martin de Roon as well, but I think Koopmeiners might be given a nod to play alongside. Obviously, he's left-footed as well, which adds a good bit of balance. So yeah, and I think obviously if you need two in there, I think De Jong obviously is the ball player and will pick the ball up from the defence, and then Koopmeiners can be like the box to box and offer that defensive steal in there as well. Moving forward, so you've got Xavi Simons. Now, I think Xavi Simons could be primed for a big Euros, and I think if he does have a good Euros, I think PSG have a decision to make, whether they're going to bring him back or if they're going to sell him on, because he will have suitors after him. For me, I think Xavi Simons is a very good player, obviously on loan at Red Bull Leipzig this season. I think Xavi Simons will start, but I think it will be from the left because of the formation they're going to play. So what I've done is that because you play wing backs, your two players that are playing off a striker will be basically number 10s. So I think Xavi Simons will play from the left as a number 10. And then on the right side, I've gone for Steven Bergwijn. I've gone Steven Bergwijn. Yeah. Because if I look at the list of strikers they've got there, so Memphis Depay is going to play through the middle. So if we just fill that in, so I've gone Xavi Simons, Memphis Depay, Steven Bergwijn on the right. So I was looking at Cody Gakpo, but I think if the formation changes, then you could see a Gakpo come in. Yeah, and then you got Wout Weghorst who has started a few games as well. But I think purely because of the formation, because if they're going to play three at the back, your wide players will be wing backs, and they've got players that can play that way in Frimpong and Maatsen, which means you need two number 10s. So Xavi Simons is ideal for the number 10 position. And on the right side, Robbie's a striker. Cody Gakpo could play there, but Cody Gakpo as a right winger, I don't think will work. I think Donyell Malen could be a shout, but I think Donyell Malen plays more from the left, and that's obviously Xavi Simons, I think, will be in there. And obviously you've got Wout Weghorst, who's a central striker. And then you got Timber, Veerman. I don't think Wijnaldum is experienced, but I think they might have his experience on the bench, unless they want to put him alongside De Jong. But I think Koopmeiners might get the nod. And then Schouten, I think, and Reginders will be obviously squad players. So yeah, that's what I've gone for. Steven Bergwijn on the right, Xavi Simons and Memphis Depay. That squad there for me is a promising squad. I think that the lineup they've got there is a lineup for me that should get to the latter stages for sure. As I say, Xavi Simons, for me, Xavi Simons, Memphis Depay, Frankie de Jong, Virgil van Dijk. I think those four in particular will be key to seeing how far Holland, Netherlands, how far they go. Obviously they'll have players like Frimpong and Maatsen in there as well that will contribute. But I think if Depay, Xavi Simons, Frankie de Jong, Virgil van Dijk, if them four have a good tournament, I can see Holland upsetting a lot of teams. You know, if they're on form, I think they can do well. You know, so yeah. But for me, it's a good squad, and yeah, we'll have to wait and see how they do. But I'll be looking out for them, watching their games in the summer. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do in the defense. Like I say, for me, I like Van der Ven, and but it just depends. But the thing is, you can't play Van der Ven because you can't play. You can play Van der Ven and Ake together, but that means you go to a back four, and that means obviously the Ligt might not play. But I think the Ligt will start, and I think he'll start on the right side of the three. But yeah, great options to have. And I'll say Daley Blind's there as well, who's a very good player. But I think Daley Blind, I'll say, will be act as more as cover for the others. So yeah, that's my take. Don't know if you guys have any different opinions on players that should be starting or should have been in the squad. Don't forget to smash that in the chat. Give your views, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel at Gab Goes In. Smash the like button, and I'll catch you guys. I'm gonna be live possibly later today, and I'm gonna give my take on the England. I know obviously their 26-man squad hasn't been confirmed yet. There's still 7 players to cut, but I'm going to give my 1 to 11 on how they think they'll line up later on today. So yeah, I'm not sure what time yet, but I will obviously give a notification if you're interested in watching, and I'll catch you guys in a bit. Take it easy.